Welcome to Thoughts of CP, everyone, on a fabulous Tuesday, even though it's being recorded on Monday. And this is CP Update Part 2. I know you guys listened to CP Update Part 1, but let's get the cat out of the bag, first of all, because I had hinted at this cat out of the bag in episodes that you might have heard me quickly mention it and then move back onto the internet. But I won't back onto the interview. I said the internet. I trust me, trust me, trust me. I've been dealing with this secret for about a week, maybe 2 weeks now. And by April 2021, actually by fall of 2022, the podcast and myself are going to be in a totally different spot, aka I'm moving. Now, the reason why I'm moving is because I, um, as you know, this was my dad's house that I was sitting in, and I've decided to live a life again. I need to move to a condo. And so on Wednesday, well, when you guys hear this, on Wednesday, I am going to be looking at a condo, and by the time next Tuesday rolls around, I will give you guys more information. And so, yeah, that's the cat out of bag. And so, welcome to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride again. I told you guys on May 19th, 2019, when we did the episode about She Is CP, which is still available on Amazon. It's my book, but I told you guys, I said, this is going to be a wild ride. And yeah, it's welcome to chapter 3 of this wild ride. Now, that being said, I have content. Thank you to my fabulous assistant who is sitting on the other end of the phone call. I am I have content up until February of 2022 of 2021. Not I wish it was. Jeez, I wish it was 2022 because that would make my life a heck of a lot easier. But I am going to try and keep this podcast as stable as I can, going through school and going through the midst of move, which for those of you who have moved, you know it's chaos. So just give me space and grace, and yeah, just give me space and grace. And then I once I get stabilized again in my new house, um, that will be great. And I will be stabilized by fall of 2021. And so you guys get to see a beautiful condo, which it's absolutely beautiful. I've seen pictures of it. I haven't seen it in person, but I know that this is going to be a good move. And so as long as I keep the podcast stable, you guys will be happy with me. And as long as I keep school stable, school will be happy with me. So my thing was, well, if worst comes to worst, I can always hook up to a coffee shop and grab a smoothie and work from there if if I need to. There are plenty, there are plenty of coffee shops by my condo. There are plenty of coffee shops by my condo. And the funny thing is, Danielle, I'm going to spill the beans on Danielle. When I first told her about what's going on, she's been keeping a good secret. She's a good secret keeper. She kept this secret last week, but now she's so excited that I finally let the cat bag. But when I first told um, Danielle, and when I first told my stepmom, they were like, "What?" It turned their heads around a little bit. But the funny thing with Danielle is she goes, "Whoa," and then in the middle of the phone call, you could see her brain like click into action, and then she starts laughing in the middle of the phone call. And the laughing wasn't because she didn't support me. I think she finally realized that she gets to see her BFF more than she did previously because even though we text every single day, we haven't seen each other for about a year because out I flew out to Podfest in Orlando and I didn't know I was coming home to, well, I did, but I didn't know I was coming home to not being able to see people because of all this monkey business and monkey business that's going on right now that's impacting everyone's life, including my own. And so I did not know that social distancing. I knew about the mask wearing. I knew about everything else. I knew about the shelter in place, but I didn't know that social distancing would be a thing. I didn't know that I couldn't see my BFF for a year, and so make BFF happy, make family happy, make and for those of you who are listening, who are family members, yes, I did a 160 on you. And yes, we can talk about this offline that I did a 160 on everyone because I said to my stepmom I was going to stay in this house that I am in now for the rest of my life. And it's like, okay, when push comes to shove, and if you want to live the life again, you kind of have to, you do have to downsize. And so for me, the advantages of downsizing is number one, I get something brand new and beautiful. Number two, I get to be a integral part of my community, which, believe it or not, the house I'm sitting in now barely has barely has a bus stop. And so for anyone to come see me, ay, 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 that's a whole mess and a half. And so, especially if you have a disability, like my BFF does, CP. Thank you very much. And so, CP gets to play in Condoland in the next year. And so, I'm super excited about that. Now, getting on to the podcast end of it. we have set it up so there's a calendar to book a call on, um, just for questions about Ask When. And because I know you guys have a lot of questions about Ask When, as Ask When is getting more popular, the little green monster that I can't control, the little green monster that's come move into this condo with me. And so, yeah, so that is Monday, Mondays and all day Mondays and Thursday mornings. And so it will say when Danielle hands you or when I hand you the intake the information, it will say specifically book a call. You book a call on specific calendar and book time for recording. You book a time for recording. And then it will have the podcast at the bottom. I should probably move podcast to the top because what I want you guys to do is listen to the podcast before you dare touch those buttons because if you don't know CP, you don't know CP. And for my long listeners who've been around me, gee, PC guys, it's been 10 years. So for my long listeners who stuck with me um, for 10 years, they know about CP. And it's it's fine. But what I would like you to do is listen and then book call and then book podcast recording. So again, it's listen to podcast and then it's book call and then book recording. And I repeat for people in back, listen to podcast, book call, and then book recording. That's how it's going to work because I don't have time anymore for you guys to ask me questions right before we hit record. I mean, no, it's listen to podcast, book call to ask questions, and then book time for an interview. And yeah, so basically, that's what it is. And I'll be sharing this podcast on this particular podcast on social media too. And so, yep. And so basically, we're at 50,000 downloads going far of all time. And so, yeah. And so I am a full time content creator and loving it. And if I need to get a job in W2 land, it has to be something in the creative field. No more teaching, no more education for me. No more. Done, done, and done with capital D. And then I'll be going back to journalism school. I may be getting my master's in special ed. We'll see. But right now I'm trying to stabilize my life. So that is that. And so you can listen to the podcast on Pandora now. If you just want to say, hey, Google Smart Speaker, um, and hey, Amazon Smart Speaker, play Ask When on Pandora. You can listen to it on Pandora. And there is an app called Ghana. And yes, we're in Ghana, and people have discovered us in Ghana. I don't know how. It was only mentioned once on a public podcast. And so people are now discovering podcasts you can now, well, you can kind of listen to podcasts on Amazon Music. That is not official yet. I will let you guys know when it is. I think they were just testing beta because I got 2 downloads, and I think it's the Amazon people testing beta. So for those of you who have who are podcasters who have got access to Ghana or access to Audible slash Amazon Music, do not, do not do it through Audible and Amazon Music. Amazon Music and Audible keep sending emails. Do it through your podcast host, whether it's Libsyn, Buzzsprout, Blueberry, Podbean. Do it through your podcast host. It's much easier than that. And then you can download Ghana, the app, on your phone, and you can find Ask Win in there. And I'm everywhere, so you guys can listen to it as you move boxes. I know a lot of people are going to be moving. This is a year for moving. This is a year for this is a year for change, and because by 2021, we want 2021 to be different than definitely different than 2019 for me personally, and definitely different than 2020 for all of us. I mean, geez, how much can one human take? Not much more. And so I think I'm seeing a lot of people get moving literally on social media and on Facebook. So yes, take um, take Aswin with you as you literally move boxes, and I'll take my podcast of choice with me as I move boxes myself. And it's more me directing people to move boxes, but I'll be as into it as I can. So Danielle, do you want to say anything else now that we let the cat out of the bag and gave the podcast update and probably scared people. Probably scared people at this point because they had no clue. And so people were like probably gonna be like, what? So that's that. But do you want to say anything else? Yes, thank you for following us. Without you guys, this podcast wouldn't have the momentum it does. And we have, as I said, we have content to February of 2021. I think I'll be hooked up to new Wi-Fi by then. Hee hee. So, so I'm super excited, but I will give you guys more information next Tuesday once I have it, and I will give you guys more information about me and my health and my weakened lungs, which COVID doesn't help. I know it's not COVID because I've been stuck at home for 5 months, but it is something, and I'm on a mission to figure out what's wrong with me. So I will let you guys go, but Danielle, and I will see you next week, and I will see you guys on a couple other podcasts, and then which I've lined up myself, and then of course Ask Win, the fabulous Ask Win, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and thanks for following us, you guys. Bye, you guys. Bye.